Time for tonight's rewrite. It should surprise no one that my exchange on Morning Joe last week with Glenn Greenwald, two lefties going at it, attracted the attention of Glenn Beck.
What did Larry O'Donnell say? He's Oberman's co-worker, fellow news anchor, the new hot lover boy over there.
Okay. New hot lover boy. So far, so good, I guess. Then Glenn showed his audience my smoking gun.
That's a question not asked very often. What did Larry O'Donnell say? He's Oberman's co-worker, fellow news anchor, the new hot lover boy over there. He said on Friday he's not a liberal. No. I mean, he can play it straight as an arrow on the air. What is he? He's not a liberal. This is what he said.
I, Glenn, unlike you, I am not a progressive. I am not a liberal who's so afraid of the word that I had to change my name to progressive.
I'm not either.
Liberals amuse me. I am a socialist.
The crew on the set laughing and chortling. Oh, but I don't know about you. I don't pal around with communists. I don't know any radical revolutionaries. I don't know any socialists.
It was actually Republican Joe Scarborough who was laughing because he's heard me say it so many times before. Remember when Richard Nixon said, we're all Keynesians now? Well, that's the way it's remembered, but he didn't actually say those words. The preeminent conservative economist of his day, Milton Friedman, said it in the December 31st, 1965 issue of Time magazine. Later, as President Nixon echoed Friedman, saying, I am now a Keynesian. That is as close as a prominent Republican has ever come to saying, I am now a socialist. The policies advocated by the British economist John Maynard Keynes were, not wrongly, regarded as socialistic. When I was working in the Senate in 1993 trying to pass a large package of Medicare cuts advocated by a Democratic president and opposed by Republicans, I realized we're all socialists now. The enactment of Social Security in 1935 and Medicare in 1965 were opposed by conservatives on the grounds that both were socialism. They were right. A government-funded pension and welfare benefits for poverty-stricken mothers was a European socialistic idea imported whole to the United States by President Franklin Roosevelt. But by 1935, enough members of Congress in both parties regarded the cruelties of unbridled capitalism as too much to bear. Capitalism was not to be overthrown, but tempered at its harshest edges with doses of practical socialism. At that time, the elderly were the most poverty-stricken among us and utterly helpless in a job market that had no use for 75-year-olds. The opposition was right about Medicare, too. It was a socialist idea whose time had come in a capitalist society. And so it, too, was supported by enough Democrats and Republicans who saw the need for a socialistic model to completely replace the truly lethal cruelty of capitalism in the healthcare marketplace for people 65 and older. And so by the middle of the 20th century, the United States had become what economists call a mixed economy. It was no longer a capitalist economy, nor was it a socialist economy. It was a mixed economy. And so is now every country in the world, including China and Cuba. There are no capitalist countries anymore, and there are no socialist countries. Every country has a mix of both. The argument in this country is not socialism or no socialism. Glenn Beck and no one else on the Fox News payroll advocate the abolition of any of the socialist programs that the government enacted in the 20th century. All right, maybe Glenn Beck is opposed to agriculture subsidies or something like that. I don't know about you, but I find him very hard to follow. But everyone else at Fox News is of a sudden up in arms about President Obama's tepid contribution to our already socialistic healthcare system. But that's more about hating Obama than hating socialism. Glenn Beck and Bill O'Reilly seem to think that I cracked on the air last week and finally admitted my darkest secret, my acceptance of the practical socialism that has allowed the United States to continue to be a humane and great country. They haven't been listening. 2 weeks ago on Bill Maher's show, Bill and I both admitted to being socialists, and we threw Barack Obama in with us. Back in September, I talked to the Hollywood Reporter. This was their headline. New MSNBC host admits to being a socialist. I started saying things like that publicly over 10 years ago. What I've been trying to do by saying it is make people understand what socialism is, and that every taxpayer in this country, every Social Security recipient, every Medicare beneficiary, and everyone who uses the post office is participating in successful socialism, practical socialism, every day. We need to take the political sting out of the word socialist. In the presidential campaign, when silly old John McCain began calling Barack Obama a socialist, everyone, not just me, should have said, so are you, and so am I. Socialists like John Boehner and Mitch McConnell and now Rand Paul should not be able to hurl that word as a slur against other socialists. There is good socialism and bad socialism. Socialism that won't work is ill-conceived, too expensive, not grounded in reality. I will join Glenn Beck in the opposition to that kind of socialism. Bad socialism is bad, but not all socialistic notions are bad. We should not allow this country to live in fear of a word. Socialism has contributed mightily to the quality of life in this country, as has capitalism, and both will continue to. We can continue to lie to ourselves about this the way Glenn Beck and Bill O'Reilly do, or we can look to the truth of ourselves and realize what Newsweek realized in 2009, 16 years after I did. We are all socialists now.